I'm answering immediately the question that a lot of you are asking, especially the ones that are the most worried about the consequences that Juventus could potentially face in the Paul Pogba anti-doping drama. What is Juventus risking? I show you with a big sign. Absolutely nothing. Zero. Except of one thing. Possibly losing a player that was about to come back, was about to be physically, I'm not saying 100%, but 75% of his capability. And we know that losing a player like Pogba, that already at 50% is making the difference of Serie A, is already a big damage. Then I want to speak about Leonardo Bonucci, that is suing apparently Juventus, and finishing speaking about Manuel Locatelli, a player that I have always appreciated, always defended, and still believe in fantastic capabilities, human perspective, but also, especially what is interesting us as a player on the field. Ragazzi, yesterday, fantastic performance with gli Azzurri. I also have a big update about Paul Pogba, Q&A, and the possible alternatives that Giuntoli and co are already thinking about. So interesting video. Usually I'm asking you somewhere in the video to put a maximum of like, to subscribe to the channel. This is something that I don't want to start with today. I don't even want to ask it today, because there are more important things than football, than making a like, a thumb up, that's subscribing to the channel. I want to ask you if you can, if you have the possibility to, and if you want to, of course, two things. The first one is thoughts and prayers for what is happening in Morocco and Libya, because what we are seeing, the reports that we are reading are really, really devastating. Something that is really breaking my heart. So thoughts and prayers. The second thing, and of course, if you can, if you want to, is don't help the channel today. Don't support the channel today, but try, if you can, to, with a donation, to support people that are really in need. Moroccan people, people in Libya. These are the people that now we have, I think, the obligation to help, because you never know what can happen in the future. Maybe you will be one day someone that will need that help. So if you can, ragazzi, do something impactful. Yesterday I did some donation with my wife. We decided to do it, as I always try to do. Usually I don't speak about, because I like these kind of things to remain private. But it's so important to do it that I really wanted to take a moment to speak about it. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe. Welcome back on the channel. So thank you for listening to the intro, also about things that are absolutely not football. But let's now go back to football. Football, big word, because we have to speak about off-the-field topics, starting with Leonardo Bonucci. Yesterday I saw the notifications on Twitter, or X, like people are saying now, that Leonardo Bonucci will initiate actions against Juventus, legal actions against Juventus. And when I see Leonardo Bonucci, 502 appearances with Juventus official on the field, legal action against Juventus, I go totally crazy. I go totally crazy, especially if I remember that, like, 1 week, 2 weeks ago, when his transfer to Union Berlin was official, I still defended the player. Yes, I am disappointed. Yes, I am pissed off. Yes, I believe that what Leo is doing at the moment is damaging him more immediately, but also for the future, and that is an act of stupidity, according to me. Again, an act of reacting with la pancia, with the stomach, reacting with feelings, ego, more than thinking about the consequences. Why is he doing it? Well, he's saying that there was a lack of adequate training condition when Juventus put him out of the team available to him, which is absolutely wrong. Damage of image and professional nature. Then he's also adding that any gainings will be donated by himself, if there are some gainings in that trial, to Neuroland charity supporting families and children hospitalized in Turin. Ragazzi, we have to divide it, okay? Starting with the first thing. For me, 502 appearances at Juventus, winning 8 Scudetti with a lot of other cups, you have the status of a legend. On the field, you have a status of a legend. Something that I spoke about 2 weeks ago. I said, for me, Leonardo Bonucci, you can like, you can dislike, you can still be pissed off because he went to Milan. When you're watching and reading the numbers, he has on the field as a player the status of a legend. But then you have legend on the field of what he did, and legend as a person. Someone that you want to put in your wall, like Scirea, like Platini, like Del Piero, like Giorgio Chiellini, like Gianluca Vialli, Buffon that you see on the wall. Persons before football players. And after today, after what I'm reading, Leonardo Bonucci is making sure that he will not find a lot of space in that wall. Because you can't do these kind of things. I can understand that your ego suffered. Being out of the team, obliged to make this kind of black and white picture with the people that were not part of the project. I can understand it. But then let's go into details. Lacking condition of adequate training. Is that right or wrong? No, it is not right, because Bonucci had all the services at his disposal at Juventus. He could train, he had all the facilities, he could go to the gym, he could go to the training ground. There were some trainers at disposal to keep him, but also the other ones, because we were speaking about Zaccaria, about Pellegrini, etc., etc. They were available for him. So it's not correct what he's saying. The only difference was that he was not able to be in contact with the first team, not able to train at the same hours as these guys. That's the only thing. So Juventus is also stating we are totally correct in what we did. Second thing, he's saying that he suffered a damage of image. Is that right in a way? Kind of. Yeah, probably. Because you're speaking about the player, of course, that is put out of the team. It was not beautiful to see. We can say that probably their damage of image could be right. Damage of image where he received the possibility from Juventus Football Club, to actually avoid, because Juventus said multiple times, February, March, April, in these 3 months, suggested to Leonardo Bonucci to stop his career or to check for another team, because he would not have been part of Juventus 23-24. Because of the abilities on the field that were lacking, and you know it if you follow the channel, not a lot of time I pronounce myself that much, but how many times did I say last season, towards the end of the season, Leonardo Bonucci is a player that I would not renew, or I would not count off for 23-24, because he's not giving his best in a 4-man defense. He's not anymore giving his best in a 3-man defense where he always excelled in the past. He's not able to stay fit anymore, something that we could count on in the past. A lot of things, ragazzi, that showed that the player at the advanced age was over. Juventus told him, we are not counting on you on a professional level anymore, but if you want to, you can stop your career, starting with your diploma, your studies to become a coach, and we are even ready in the near future to give you one of the youth teams, under 19 or even next gen, because this has always been one of the dreams of Leonardo Bonucci. I believe, if I'm not wrong, that a few years ago he even said, I would love one day to train Juventus more than be a manager. That's what I'm going to. So damage of image. He refused the saluto, the goodbye of the Juventus stadium to the Allianz Stadium, the last game at home last season, because he was still believing that he could offer one more year, which was absolutely not in the plans of Juventus. And then he suffered, according to him, a professional nature lack. Ragazzi, he went to Union Berlin. He went to Union Berlin that will play Champions League, while Juventus is not playing Champions League. So I think that the first condition, training sessions, and professional nature, the future of it, has totally already been destroyed, not even going in trial in court. That second damage of image, well, we can speak about it. Juventus can show how much. What is my opinion about that? I already started to explain. My opinion is that he's stupid. He's stupid. Because if I already forgive him the fact that he went to Milan, if I kind of forgive him that stupid celebration in the Allianz Stadium for Milan, because you can understand the reason even if you don't agree with him, I took a decision back then, not putting anymore, anytime soon, the name of Bonucci on a shirt. I could have done it in the far future on a legendary shirt of 2011, 2012, 12, 13, 13, 14, before he's moved to Milan, but he's also taking now with this stupid action something away. Never anymore I will put it. Not in the present when he was a Juve player. He's not anymore. Not even in the future. But I believe what he's doing is also stupid for him. He's damaging his near future, his far future as a professional. Because never again he will put a step anymore at Juventus. If you are taking this kind of legal action against the club that made you big, that made you famous, that made you actually rich, because Juventus, Bonucci is a total adventure at Juventus, earn 35 million euro. Then you will tell me, Beppe, in Saudi Arabia, he could have earned it in 2 seasons. Probably yes, but 35 million euro is not less. It's not few. I would love to have 35 million euro. So, these kind of things are, again, a Leonardo Bonucci, as he did so many times in his career, speaking with his stomach, speaking with his broken heart, more than thinking first before speaking. And that's stupid. That's really stupid. I'm totally against what he's doing now. I think it's stupid. I think it's something that he should have thought 3, 4, 10 times before doing it. Also, the accusation against Juventus are not even correct. I can even understand that being hurt, because it's not funny after all these years. Get over it. Get over it. Enjoy your probably last year at the club that is playing UEFA. Try to win that ticket to play Euro 2024 if Italy qualify, and get over it. But no. That's my thoughts about Leonardo Bonucci. I'm pissed off. Anyway, you know why? Because again, it's Juventus on the papers with a bad image. It is what it is. Ragazzi, we go to Paul Pogba because we already spoke too much about Leo Bonucci. I hope you appreciated it. But Paul Pogba, we already spoke a lot about yesterday. So Paul Pogba is in problems. Gazzetta dello Sport. Paul Pogba risked a big stop. What happened, according to the last rumor, something that we didn't know yesterday when I made the video, but apparently the Pogba positive test could have been the fault of a supplement recommended by a doctor friend. First of all, when I hear doctor friend, we have a problem. Unrelated to Juventus. And there I'm really reassured. You remember in the beginning of the video when I told you Juventus is risking 0. He bought it in America, where there are different rules related to doping. It risks costing him dearly because he's now suspended without the possibility of training. So, yesterday we said precautionary suspension for the player until the result of the counter test. He's not even able to train at La Continasa. He has not even the right to do like Leonardo Bonucci, to train separately out of the team. He's not able to go and train with Juventus facilities at the moment. Again, before continuing to speak, you know that I have always defended, and I will always defend, the possible innocence until proven guilty. So pay attention, because here we are speaking about reports of journalists. We are speaking about rumors that are all going into one direction. All the papers are reporting the same. So it's a credible source, but we have no evidences today. We continue. Pending the counter-analysis, which will have to confirm the positivity to doping. According to the initial reconstruction, Pogba yesterday told to the Juventus doctor that he had taken substances not agreed upon with Juventus medical staff. And that's, if true, a huge stupidity. Another stupidity from another player, from an ex or at the moment Juve player. Because players, they know it really well. Whatever you're taking as a substance, you have to refer to Juventus, even when you are on holiday, even if it's because you're taking a small pill because headache or the teeth or whatever, you are obliged to refer to Juventus, something that he apparently didn't do. The defense of Raffaella Pimenta is already studying the line. In the event of a confirmation of positive result, the old lady will be able to request the termination of Pogba contract. There are two things. Apparently, if Paul Pogba will be tested again positive, Juventus could potentially, and apparently that's where they are going to suspend the salary of Pogba, not paying him anymore for the entire length that he will not be on the field. That's one. The second thing is that Juventus can possibly also stop the contract with Pogba if it's true that he will be tested again positive, if he will be banned between 2 and 4 years of playing football. So Juventus is already thinking about the steps forward. What are the steps forward in case this would happen? Until now, Juventus is supporting Paul. They heard Paul. They are next to him. But of course, they are waiting for the counter-analysis, for the next step that Juventus will not decide. Well, in case really you miss a player that you are not paying anymore, or that you break the contract, in January, the Mercato will be open again. What are Juventus thinking? Well, about the players that we were already in contact with. That young Habib Diarra from Strasbourg that at the end stayed at Strasbourg but really wanted to go. It's a player that we can go in detail in the future with Romeo Agresti, for example, that already studied him. Well, he can be a player that comes in January. Another player could be Kone from Dortmund, that we already spoke about. Another one from Serie A could be Samardzic, a player that Juventus had in target, but you know that shopping in Italy is always expensive, especially if you're speaking about one of the best, if not the best player of 23-24 from Udinese. Another player that could possibly there, in the books, you know it, my dream, not because of Paul Pogba or not, but a player that I really wanted this summer is Kefren Thuram. That is the most expensive one in terms of the cartellino, the value of the player that at the end stayed at Nice, a lot of competition of the player, but these can be the possible solution for Juventus. What is Juventus risking? Q&A. I already told you, nothing. Juventus doesn't have the responsibility of it. The only risk for Juventus would have been if multiple players from Juventus would have been tested positive to doping, because then it's a responsibility of the club. If it's an isolated case like the one of Pogba, and if his test is again positive, I always say if, that means that Juventus is risking nothing. You can be already reassured. What is Pogba risking? Well, I already told you that means between 2 and 4 years of stop, which means if he comes back at 34, the career is nearly over. Now we go to the third topic, Italy. Italy that is celebrating their win over Ukraine 2-1 yesterday. Well, before going to the first national team, the big ones, let's go back to the under-21 derby. Miretti against Yildiz. Yildiz, you see, he has the skills. He has the magic. He has also the fire in him, and he wants to prove it. But yesterday, the baby Italy was able to stop him. Could have done better, probably. Yes, Turkey was not having a fantastic game. They were doing okay until it was 0-0. But then it's the goal of Fabio Miretti. Yes, you heard me well. Goal of Fabio Miretti that yesterday did a really beautiful, fantastic performance. Happy for the kid. Will that goal that he now scored in an official game unlock him also for Juve? Well, we will wait and we'll try to see it on Saturday. Another player that could possibly have been unlocked, not in terms of goals, but in terms of beautiful performance, is Locatelli. Locatelli, and you know it, a lot of time I describe him as a player that means sacrifice, because he always sacrifices himself for a team. That's the title that Tuttosport is giving him. Locatelli vuol dire sacrificio. Locatelli means sacrifice. But not only that yesterday. Sacrificing himself for Juve, he's always doing it. Sometimes appreciated, sometimes less appreciated. But he did more than that yesterday. And that's why in Gazzetta dello Sport he's giving a rating of 7. Second best player together with Zaniolo behind Fratesi, that did a phenomenal performance also with his brace. Beautiful. But yesterday Locatelli did amazingly well. What did he do to deserve nearly half a page speaking only about him? Well, sacrifice for the team, long passes, but the precision of the passes were fantastic. Being available everywhere in that midfield. If you're looking at the heat maps, go and try to check them about Locatelli yesterday. He was everywhere, playing in one touches. He was always there. It also hit the bar at a certain moment that would have said fantastic also with a goal for Italy. Yesterday Locatelli was everywhere, was always playing in front, vertical, thinking offensively. Look, if he comes back to Juve and is able to maintain that sacrificing role, but also doing what he did yesterday with the Italian national team, ragazzi, we have a top player. A top player that we need, especially now that we risk to not see Paul Pogba for a really, really long time. That was it for my video. Give me your opinion about Paul. Give me your opinion about Leo. Give me your opinion about Locatelli, maybe even Miretti. Are these two players ready for the next step at Juve? Do you believe to see them nearly and soon at the top of their form? I'm really curious about your opinion because, you know, I love to read them. Grazie Juventini for all your time, for your dedication that you are putting on the channel every single day. So nice to see so many people that are also writing beautiful messages like the thank you Beppe for your time and so on and so on. Grazie, forza. Juve.